The terrifying murders of Jack the Ripper, London's killer from hell. In the corridors of the annals of criminality, one particular unsolved case is impossible to be known. Whether your interest is not certainly in true crime stories or you binge watch every crime documentary you can find on YouTube, the story of Jack the Ripper is more than likely no foreign to you. Indeed, Jack the Ripper, the most savage and villainous murderer in the human history, who gloomed the joyous streets of London, played with cops, and savagely hunted down 5 people. The Jack the Ripper case is one of the most fatal cases that history had ever recorded. Experts have been trying to decipher this mystery for over a century now. Of course, his case is quite fascinating when you're just watching or reading it. But it would be so frightening to be involved in such incident way back when he was still lurking in the dark areas of England. Before we go any further, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and smash that like button for more quality videos you can't certainly get from others. We compile videos and do the research just for you. Without turning this into a movie, here are the terrifying murders of Jack the Ripper that will make you either feel amazed or disturbed. Canonical 5. Jack's exact victims remain unknown, but the 5 victims can be regarded to the killer specified as the Canonical 5. All of them were women and sex workers who resided in the densely populated spot of Whitechapel, East London. Names of the Canonical 5 victims are Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. On August 31, 1888, Mary Ann was found lifeless, her throat sliced into pieces and lower abdomen partially opened. 8 days later, on Saturday, September 8, Annie Chapman was found dead with her throat scattered as well. But unlike Mary Ann, her lower abdomen was widely severed as if some sort of animal did it. A long narrow piece of skin was placed on one shoulder with her intestines laid on the other. After in-depth observations, it was found that some of her internal organs, such as uterus and bladder, were taken away from her body, never to be found near the place ever again. Compared to Mary Ann, Annie had a witness and was seen before the vile incident happened. She was spotted along with a man who had dark hair and a stylish appearance. Night of September 30, there were 2 women killed and their names are Catherine Eddowes and Elizabeth Stride. British people consider this to be particularly blunt on the side of Jack the Ripper because the killings happened quite close to each other and only in a short span of time. It was 1 in the morning when Elizabeth's lifeless body was the first to be found. Like the 2 mentioned victims, her throat had been forced apart too. What's just unusual is her abdomen wasn't open nor wounded. Many believe that Jack the Ripper's intention was somehow disrupted that led to not continuing or completing his despicable rituals. On the other hand, Catherine wasn't fortunate enough. Her left kidney and most parts of her uterus were already taken away from her the time she was found. Moreover, her face had been badly damaged, cheeks ripped, and eyelids engraved. Lastly, Mary Jane Kelly. In comparison with other victims, she definitely received the worst kind of torture. Her throat was widely opened down to the spine. Her face was fatally disfigured that she couldn't be recognized even by her family that time. Her internal organs were almost missing and even her heart was nowhere to be found. Mary Jane's body was also presented with her kidneys, uterus, and one of her breasts laid beneath her head. She is reckoned to be the last certified victim of Jack. From hell. As the rampage scattered all over the streets of London, Jack, or someone hiding behind the name Jack, was quite celebrating the attention he had been continuously receiving. What's so spooky about him at that time was that he didn't hesitate to converse with the police and news publishers. He sent in 3 letters and postcards to them. Before the demise of Elizabeth and Catherine, the earliest letter he wrote, "Dear Boss," turned up at the Central News Agency, optimistically conveying that the next bloodshed would have the murderer rendering the ears of the woman to the cops. There was a small cut or wound on one of Catherine's ears, which made the letter's credibility and plausibility more strong. The postcard also turned up at the Central News Agency after the killing of 2 ladies, and it was entitled Saucy Jackie. It was evident that the postcard and the first letter were written by the same person, due to the fact that it had alike handwriting. The last one, called From Hell, arrived to the Whitechapel Vigilance Committee leader, George Lusk. Although this letter had different handwriting compared to the first two letters, it was sent obviously by the same sender due to a significant part of evidence: Catherine's missing kidney. Something weird that you wish you won't want to get in the mail. The received kidney was immediately delivered to Dr. Thomas Openshaw of London Hospital for further investigation. But he couldn't find anything to certainly associate it to Catherine. Dr. Thomas received a signed letter by Jack, considering it as a fourth letter. What happened to Jack? What happened to Jack that he immediately stopped his vicious rituals? Some believe that he ended it due to illness, migration, imprisonment, or death. Other than this, it's probable that there were other Jacks, not just particularly one Jack the Ripper. On the other hand, many believe that there are other killings connected with the productive murderer. After Mary Jane's demise, the rise of 6 deaths in Whitechapel area led experts and some individuals to believe could be the work of Jack as well, but with no feasible and strong evidence associated to it. Now, the real question is, who is Jack the Ripper? Is it possible that he could not be the only one? The theories are numerous. What's yours? Comment your thoughts down below. If you're an abundant true serial crime fan, stay tuned as the next video is starting.